Let's be clear. I am one black man. I do not speak for all black people. I know many black people will disagree with what I'm about to say, but that's not because black people don't get along. It's because black people are people. We have our own opinions and we don't have to agree. That is perfectly okay. Here is my opinion. We were told from grade school that the U.S. Constitution was the greatest foundational document in world history. The problem is that its authors did not have indigenous or melanated people in mind when they wrote it. Perhaps they never really meant that all men and women were created equal, but alas, at least on paper, we all are. The problem for us is that we now expect them to stand by their word. The problem for them is that in nearly 250 years, they haven't figured out how to fix their little mistake. The idea of a flavorful melting pot of mixed races harmoniously intermingling and coexisting almost seems doomed from the start. I am well aware that on one extreme, people will use science to say that dark-skinned people are inferior and need to be exterminated. Then there's the religious folks who will say, well, just read Deuteronomy 28 and you'll see why all this is happening. Let's bring it back to center. Everything that is happening across the U.S. today has been in the works for centuries and is being carefully and intentionally carried out. Slavery supposedly ended in 1865, yet Hollywood keeps pushing out movies reminding us of what happened 200 years ago. Why? Because it reinforces an inferiority complex. We developed that inferiority complex in our Eurocentric, compulsory education system. When white kids are constantly presented with images and histories of people who look like them doing great things, they begin to feel superior. Everyone else slowly starts to feel less and less important, even worthless. The social conditioning that allows people to perpetuate racist practices at the institutional level starts at a very young age. Here's the kicker. The less blatant, the more effective, because people don't even realize they have these biases. So here we are, June 1st, 2020. About a week ago, cities and states started raising unconstitutional restrictions allegedly imposed for our own safety due to the whole virus scare. Yesterday, on the anniversary of the Tulsa race riots, more accurately, the destruction of Black Wall Street, cities across the nation imposed curfews due to looting and rioting. This was not a coincidence. Yes, a man was killed and the whole thing was filmed for the world to see. People are fearful. They're fed up. They are rightfully angry. Some were loudly yet peacefully protesting, unlike what happened in my city when the Eagles won the Super Bowl. Across the nation, pallets of bricks appeared on the routes planned for peaceful protests. Cans of gasoline were strategically placed in bushes and alleys. Who the hell had time to run to Home Depot and pick up a pallet of bricks right before a rally? I mean, I know Home Depot has been open this whole time, but come on. We have to see we are being played here. Since we're in the information era, let's look specifically at the Black Lives Matter movement. It is funded by George Soros, a white subversive who advocates for the overthrow of the U.S. government. How he hasn't been arrested for treason is beyond me. Oh wait, right. Free speech. We know that a lot of the damage and destruction to both homes and businesses is being carried out by white members of Antifa and white members of Black Lives Matter movement. There are also angry black people who are violently protesting. And there are people of all races who don't give two shits about George Floyd or any of the other 88 unnamed black people killed in the last week, but they're using this opportunity to loot stores and personally enrich themselves. Meanwhile, the vast majority of law-abiding citizens are seeing their civil liberties taken away once again for their own safety. We're living in the greatest Jedi mind trick in American history. Yes, we need action. So let's start by turning off our TVs. Let's not rush to failure. Right now is the time for a tactical pause.